complex mental health is now available. Developed and delivered by national mental health organisation SANE, this new service involves professional phone and online counselling and one-on-one contact with a peer support worker. To tell us more about it, Jackie Mead is SANE's Chief Operating Officer. She joins me now. Good afternoon.
Hey Kim, great to be with you.
And you too, well into 2023 now, aren't we?
It sure is. It's flown by really fast.
Hasn't it? So this service, why was it developed?
It was developed because SANE recognised that there was a really significant gap between, I guess, our existing mental health services, particularly as they exist within emergency departments, and then people getting to the next step. And that, in fact, if you're only seeing a psychologist once a month, it's a hell of a long time between visits where you may need help and support.
For sure, and as we know, it's almost impossible to get appointments in the first place.
Well, particularly in Tasmania at the moment, and I guess I want to say to your listeners that, SANE knows how tough that is, and, we are absolutely here for you, whether it be for a short time or a longer time, depending on, how long the wait is that you're facing currently.
So for those who are listening but may not be totally across it, if you're living with a complex mental health issue, if that's the correct wording, what might that look like?
So we define complex in the broadest of terms. In some organisations, people might say, well, that's only if you've got, things such as schizophrenia or borderline personality disorder. But we fully recognise and acknowledge that complexity can come from a whole lot of other things that are going on in your life, or it might be that you've got diagnoses of multiple things, or so, for example, ongoing depression, as well as being diagnosed with autism, for example, or can lead to huge complexity, as can things like homelessness, where getting services can be just that much tougher. So all of those types of people are very welcome to engage with our service.
Would you add debilitating anxiety, panic, OCD, those sorts of things to the list?
Absolutely. Eating disorders, psychosis, they're all absolutely a part of this more complex picture that people can be faced with. Complex trauma is another one that can come up really regularly.
So how does the service work?
Yeah, so people can self-refer to the service, or they can be referred by a clinician, a doctor, for example, and then they will be contacted via email. It is a digital service, so it is by phone that we contact people, or web chat, or online if that's what they prefer. And they'll then be introduced to somebody who has a similar or has their own lived experience of complex mental health, who'll help guide them through a process of deciding what they need right there and then, and how we can best help them before they find themselves working with a counsellor or a peer worker in a way that works best for them.
We know the road to recovery is varied for each individual. Is the service available for as long as it's needed, and is there a cost attached?
The service is free. It's funded by the federal government, and what we do, I guess, and one of the really cool things about this program is it takes people through the ebbs and flows. So you'll sign up and start working towards one set of goals, and if we start to see improvement, then you might join our online forums, for example, or other ways of kind of managing on a day-to-day basis. But then if things get really tough again, you can reintegrate and re-enter our program. So the idea is you never have to be on your own through the tough times.
And it's great too, isn't it, to have a service like this available on the phone or online, because a lot of people don't even feel comfortable leaving their home.
Absolutely right. There can be some real benefits from being able to deal with the really tough stuff, when you're curled up on your own couch. But of course, we really encourage people to get out and about too, and to provide them the tools and support to be able to make those next steps towards, healthy coping strategies, and towards being able to manage and live with their diagnosis.
Finally, how can people reach out if they're in need?
If they're in need, they can jump online and go to sane.org, or they can call us on 1800 187 263.
Excellent. Well, Jackie Mead, thanks so much for bringing this service to Tasmania and for sharing details of it this afternoon with me. It's appreciated.
Not a problem. Thanks, Kim. Bye.
Pleasure. See ya. 4:15.